Welcome to another episode of Walk Worthy. I'm here with my new friend, Brandon Finnegan. Hey, man. So what's pretty amazing is that you had the opportunity to pitch in the College World Series and in the Major League World Series in the same year.
Yes. Yeah.
That's nuts.
It was a whirlwind. Is what the word I like to use. It all happened so fast. It's one of those things that you kind of couldn't really, understand what was going on. Especially all the dreams that just happened at once. I was playing at the same college that my dad played at.
At TCU?
Yes, yeah. Left-handed pitcher, dropped out of high school just like I was, and played at TCU. And then, I got drafted in 2014, and everything just happened so fast I couldn't really put into perspective of what was going on.
So what was that process? Did you ever, was it straight to Kansas City
or
triple A?
That would have been a little bit cooler. No, so back then baseball had probably about 7 levels that you had to work through.
Yeah.
And usually when you got drafted, you started off in rookie ball, and then there's like a short season, then low A, high A, double A, triple A, and then big league. So I started off in high A, and they had sat me down the day I signed my contract with them, saying that, if I did what I had been doing all year and they were still in the playoff push, this was what was going to happen. And I literally just laughed, thinking there's just no way.
Wow.
But I went to high A for 2 weeks, two and a half weeks, did really well. And then they called me up to double A, and same thing, about 2.5 weeks. And I just got the car that I bought, which was very similar to the one I have now, the night before. And I went out with the rest of the team because we were 2 days away from the season ending.
Yeah.
And my roommate got called in before me, and he was in there for 10 minutes. I was like, that's a long meeting. And he came out, I was like, dude, did you just get called up? He's like, yeah. I was like, no way, that's sick. And then I got called in after. I was like, man, they're about to send me to Instructs. I thought I was going home. But he called me in, and the assistant GM was in there, and he said, I heard you got a new car last night. I was like, yeah, I did. It's pretty sweet. He said, you think you can drive that across state lines? I was like, yeah, I'm going home as soon as the game's over with tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they all started laughing, and he was just like, yeah, you're not going home. I was like, oh, this sucks. And he goes, you're going to Kansas City. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you're going to the big leagues. And I was like, no way. It was just a whirlwind. And, of course, we got there. I got to Kansas City the next day, and they were playing the Rangers, and I thought I was going to make my debut against my hometown team. And but it was just fun. It was something that I'll forever cherish. And, a lot of dreams came true very quickly.
Yeah. And so when you actually were on the mound with, a Royals jersey on, pitching, what did that, what was going through your head?
Ooh, that's tough. We were in Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah. So my debut was in New York. I think we were down 7-2 at the time, something around there. And so I knew I couldn't lose the game, but at the same time, it was probably the most nervous I'd been besides the start I had in the College World Series.
Yeah.
I just remember, kind of be pretty jittery. I'm not a jittery guy for the most part. I shake my leg a lot, but I was on the mound. I just remember I was locked in, but not knowing what was kind of happening. I couldn't tell you the first person I faced. Yeah. I have no clue. I threw one pitch and he flew out to center field. But the second person I faced was Jacoby Ellsbury, then Derek Jeter, then Martin Prado, then Mark Teixeira, then Carlos Beltran. Besides Alex Rodriguez, that's all the studs that played for them. And it all just happened so fast.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't really realize that I just made my childhood dream come true.
Yeah, you're sitting there pitching to Jeter.
Yeah.
And that's got to be. So what were you? Do you remember what you were thinking?
I know that was there's 3 people I faced in my entire career where I was like, I can't believe I'm pitching against this guy right now, and he was one of them. Yeah. And I was always the type of guy that I could kind of zone out the fans.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen For the Love of the Game.
Yeah.
But he's clear the mechanism, and he it just zones into the strikes. I can't say that's exactly what happened, but I couldn't hear fans.
Yeah.
But when Derek Jeter walks up to home plate, you're gonna hear it. Yeah. And I remember kind of being a little out of whack. And if it wasn't for you know, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not trying to knock the guy, but if it wasn't for him helping me out, I wouldn't have struck him out. You know, but that guy, it was. I mean, everybody's a fan of Derek Jeter, so like facing him was just like, wow. I guess this is the big leagues. You know.
So you go from this like high of highs, and it happened so quick. And what was the next chapter of your life?
So we went to the World Series that year. We ended up losing in Game 7, and that was at that point mentally I was just drained. You know, I obviously wanted to win, but the moment the game was over, it's like, all right, I'm going home tomorrow. Like I'm ready to be home. I'm ready for a break. You know, did the whole off-season gig. Went to spring training the next year and had terrible spring training. And for me, that was not normal.
Right.
Because I was used to, you know, fall ball at TCU. I would always shove. I did really well. And I got there and I was just like, not good. Right. And so I went to Double-A to start off with for a week. And then I was getting called up and sent down, just due to not performance, but due to guys coming off the IL. And they had big league time a lot more than I did. Sure. And they had I was the only person on the team on the 40-man with options left. Yeah. So I was getting shuttled back and forth. And then the trade deadline comes up, and I got traded to the Reds. You know, and that was the first time that I really got to witness politics in sports. Because when you're sitting here watching, you don't really understand it. I mean, I definitely didn't growing up. And it was a slap in the face. It was like a very shocking moment.
You felt betrayed, or
not betrayed? I just got drafted by him, you know, the year before, and I was like, I just went to the World Series with these guys. These guys were my friends. That's who I came up with. I had already seen them as brothers, and I just didn't want to leave them, you know. And of course, going to a team that I didn't know anybody on, I didn't know anything about besides the people that were Hall of Famers a long time ago. But they were going to give me a chance to start, and they did. They did give me a chance to start, and what was the coolest thing, I thought, the people that were waiting in Louisville when I got there, which is their AAA, was Barry Larkin and Eric Davis.
Oh, wow.
Which is two of their best players ever. Yeah. And I still talk to them to this day. Yeah. They're amazing human beings. It was you know, at the time I didn't see it. I guess you could call it a blessing in disguise, you know. Yeah. It took me a while to really understand, yet, you know, it's just part of the game. Yeah. It wasn't a knock on me. It wasn't any of that. It was just, hey, they needed a starter, and I was one of the guys that the Reds wanted in return. Right. So yeah. Still got a World Series ring, but I just didn't get to witness the World Series win, you know.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so after all that transpiring, there's something pretty cool that's happened in your life this year, right?
Yes, sir.
Would you share that?
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I got into a pretty dark place. After I did really well when I got traded to the Reds for a few years. Yeah. And then I had a terrible 2018 season, and that's when it started to all just like spiral downhill. Yeah. I came back after injury from 2017, and 2018 I was just not good. First actual real failure and adversity in baseball, period. Yeah. And when I say that, I mean, like, I wasn't rebounding from a bad outing. It was just like bad outing. And, you know, I didn't know how to respond because to an extent, I mean, it definitely was a stuff thing at that point. But fast forwarding to 2019, like, my stuff was there. 2020 was COVID, alternate site. My stuff was there. Yeah. Still wasn't getting called back up. 2021, my stuff was even better than what I thought I had when I was in the big leagues with the Royals. Right. And, you know, number-wise, I had a terrible April. The rest of the year was great. Yeah. They didn't call me up. So, like, I'm just sitting here getting bitter. And then I signed with the White Sox in 22, and same thing. April was terrible. Rest of the season was phenomenal. Yeah. And then I get released right after the draft because they're scrambling to find money, and they're getting rid of every dude that has big league time or is making a certain amount of money in AAA, and I was one of those guys.
Yeah.
And didn't get picked up. We only had a month left in the season, so I figured I wouldn't. But I figured I would have gotten picked up for 23, and I didn't. And it was just like everything was happening so fast in my eyes, and I was just kind of spiraling. I knew the stuff was there. I knew my talent was there. The fire was still there, but not getting picked up by an affiliated team with what I had thought had proven myself.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but I had a blast. My last season, I played indie ball for the Kansas City Monarchs. We won the championship. Met a bunch of phenomenal guys that were in the same boat that I was. So, like, this isn't woe is me. It was just like, to me, I was like, what's going on here?
Right.
I was in Kansas City's backyard. I played for the Monarchs right there. I was like, I'll definitely get picked up by them.
Right.
And I didn't. I did a pro day last year. Did well. Teams were interested, but didn't offer me a contract. And I put off till about September of actually retiring.
Yeah.
But all of last year, I was, very, very depressed. I would say I was in a dark place.
Yeah.
Because I had lost something that I had loved since I was a 4-year-old kid.
Right.
That, that's all I knew was baseball.
Yeah.
That's who I saw myself as, was a baseball player, not somebody that played baseball.
Right.
Baseball was my identity. It's the way I provided for my family. And if I did bad, I felt embarrassed for my family that I did bad, you know. And, now I was scrambling for not having a way to bring in money. I felt like I was failing my son, my wife, not just them, but like my parents, my brother, my in-laws. I felt like I was a failure to them. One thing I always wanted to do was to pitch in the big leagues in front of my son, and I didn't get to do that. I don't think any of my nephews really got to see me pitch in the big leagues either, and that tears at my heartstrings a lot as a man, as an athlete. But last year it was eye-opening. It's something that brought me to where I am now. I would always say that I was a very mentally strong guy until last year. But I watched my wife start her walk with God a lot faster than me, and it was very admiring to watch. She got baptized by her brother-in-law. They share the same birthday on their birthday. And to watch that happen, the way she was plugging into the Bible and, the way she was talking, she was happier. And there's that through a dark time, seeing somebody else's happiness, I was like, okay,
that might be something to this.
Yeah. So, and we got plugged in to Keystone through our neighbors, Zach and Steely, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Austin and Beth.
Zach's a great dude.
Yeah, he's a man. Like since day one, he was telling me to go there, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, dude, I'll go there."
Yeah.
But we went there, and I fell in love with it immediately. Something like that feeling you walk in, it's just different, and I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that immediately. But fast forward to Easter weekend this year. And Pastor Brandon had been talking about baptisms. Yeah. And I had met with a couple of pastors, and they were like, don't you think you should, do you want to get baptized? I was like, I do, but I feel like there's steps I have to take. Yeah. I don't feel worthy to do this yet. I feel like I have to plug in more to your church.
Was there a moment that you had placed your faith in Jesus prior to that? Or
so I had always been like, I believe in Jesus. I know these things are happening because of him, not because of my, I knew my talent was because of him.
Yeah.
But I would be lying if I said that I didn't think I had to do it myself.
Right.
That he wasn't doing it for me, right? So I would be lying if I said that, because I was. I thought that for me to get called up to the big leagues, I had to do this, this, and this, not God had to do that. Right. So but I never had fully surrendered ever. Yeah. I'd prayed those words like, God, just please take over my life. Please take control. I can't do this without you. Please. Yeah. But I never fully just gave up and surrendered. And we were, I think it was, is it called Good Friday? I think it is.
Yeah.
Not good. Is it Good Friday?
Yeah, Good Friday. Yeah.
The service before Easter, and Pastor Brandon's like, at the end, he goes, anybody who feels like they want to get baptized, please go out to our common area and do it. And I was just like, her whole family was there, and I was like, afterwards, I told her, I was like, I think I want to get baptized.
Let's go.
And she was like, I was hoping you were going to say that. And apparently her mom, who's an angel, had texted her during the service right when he said that, and said that I feel like Brandon is going to get baptized today.
Let's go.
So I did it, and it's so like, I don't want to sound cliche to say this, but like the feeling I felt, not just afterwards, but like till this day, when bad things happen, like I feel a sense of just calmness that I wouldn't have normally felt. And I know it's because I finally just realized that it's not because of me that this and this is happening. You know, it's because of him. Like, he gave me the talent that he gave me. He allowed me to do the things that I've done in my life, and now he's brought me back. And I feel like he did that, having to take away baseball. It's sad for me to say that he had to take away baseball to do that, but I get to be home with my son and my wife every day and see him grow up and be my wife doesn't have to be a single parent anymore. For 8 months out of the year. And I know how bad that was for her. So for him to take away baseball, to bring me closer to him and bring me closer to my family and find new friends in a church, and you know, it's a blessing. Honestly, as much as I miss playing, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Just thinking about just pitching in general, and then for me thinking about like shooting, there's an aspect of control, and specifically to a pitcher, there's an aspect of control. You're in control of, you know, the cadence. You're in control of the pace of the game. You're in control of so many things, and you know it. If you are a baseball player, then that aspect of control can become an aspect of your personality, almost to your detriment.
Oh yeah.
So do you think that it was part of that aspect of your personality where when things were out of your control, even while you were performing, but things weren't going, the outcome wasn't in alignment with what you thought? Would you just speak to that, just like that aspect of control and surrender, that struggle?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Like, I'm a competitive human being. And my wife will tell you, it's
you want to win.
Yeah, I want to win. I don't like losing. So like, if I feel like I'm not in control of a certain situation, like I'm not a big drinker because I don't want to feel like I'm not in control of my body. If you know, and like you said, in the aspect of like pitching, like when things didn't go my way on the mound, even though I made the pitch that I should have made to get the out, I was mad. I wasn't going to show up my teammate, but you know I'm mad. But you're so right. Like, the thought, I would say back then, of giving up and allowing somebody to take control of my life, so I could be a better person, a better father, husband, friend. You know, it was scary because I don't know the future. And if I'm in control of myself, I feel like I know what's going to happen, right? But it was scary. But
and there's also like an element of you trusting your preparation. Because I mean, if let's say that you walk a guy and now you know, Derek Jeter is coming to bat after you just walked the guy. What is like the mental gymnastics that's going on in your head where you just threw 4 balls in a row? What's going to allow you to have the mental fortitude to trust your preparation, but to not allow what you just did impact what you do next?
Yeah, I mean that's such a good like, and that just goes back to training, right? And it's gonna sound bad myself thinking about this now. Like, the training with baseball, I had so much more confidence in because I knew I was good. But when it comes to surrendering and giving my life to God, I knew I wasn't biblically sound, and I didn't think I was prepared to do that. And that's why I told Pastor Jeff, I was like, I feel like there's things that I have to do before I get baptized. And he's like, if anything, this will be the first step to. I was like, I need to think on that.
Yeah, because I think, I mean, that's why the Bible tells us that it's in our weakness.
Yes.
We are strong.
Yes.
And then even the Bible talks about meekness, just that strength under control, like, is the way that we can operate in the most strength.
Yes.
The way that we can be the most effective is just because we could doesn't mean we should, but we should be able to.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
And I think I think that in spite of what you're saying, that, man, I don't, I might not know enough, or, jokingly we were saying, like, we're going to do like a Bible quiz or whatever. But, man, in the same way that a marriage is, like, you're not supposed to, like, sure, there's something about, like, being healthy,
yes,
being financially stable and all that stuff. But when you get married, you become one flesh, and there's this beauty in discovery where you're not supposed to have it figured out, because, like, when you bring in, like, presuppositions about who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to look, or worrying about, am I as far along as this other guy, I miss out on what God wants to do in that moment with you.
That's so true. I mean, and I think that's what scared me. I was looking at these guys, Zach, Steely, yourself, and I even told Zach this yesterday. Like, I always found it so impressive, people that could, they were just biblically sound, that could recite Bible verses like the back of their hand. Yeah. I was, even from a younger age, I was like, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I never took the steps to do it.
Yeah.
But that's what scared me about surrendering, because I felt like I wasn't at that part in my life to where I could do that. Yeah. And I thought that's what you need to be able to actually surrender. That meant you had surrendered, and I was like, I'm not there. I have a lot of work.
Yeah, but I would say, man, like, let's say that we went out in the yard and we started throwing a baseball around. I would be, because of my pride, I would be like, man, it's like, I gotta throw it, like, so hard but not too hard.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta show you got some talent.
Yeah, I gotta prove that I have a little bit of talent. It's like, what, like, do I, like, what kind of, like, mechanics, like, because I would be trying to prove something to you that would have nothing to do with, like, us doing something that's fun.
Yep.
And I miss out on the fun that we could have had because I'm worried about how I look to you.
Yep. Little ego right there. Yeah.
And
it's so true.
And I would say, like, following Jesus can be the same way. And it's like, man, if I just utilize the same steps that you took to be able to pitch at a high level, well, yeah, obviously you're disciplined. Obviously you're highly competent in that way, where it's like, man, if you put in the reps, then the reps will prove themselves, to be
exactly,
to build the engine that you want. But I think just in pitching in general, there's so much there of, like, when I think about Mark 4, there's this story where Jesus has done all these miracles, and then the disciples, they're by the shore, and Jesus asks them to get on this boat, and they're on this boat, and then all of a sudden there's this storm, and in the middle of the storm they're like freaking out, and they're like, "Wake up, Jesus! Like, we're gonna die, man!" Like, and then he wakes up and he's like, "You have little faith," and he's like, "Peace, be still," and the winds and the waves and everything stops. But I think, like, it's in the reliance of Jesus is part of the story. But I think the coolest part is, if you go back, it was Jesus' idea to get on the boat. Mm-hmm. Jesus is omniscient. He's all-knowing. Yep. He's all-powerful. He exists outside of time. So, meaning that he knew the storm was coming. He told them to get on the boat. And because he knew that what was going to happen, he was asleep. And he knew he would be asleep. And he knew they would freak out. And they knew that it would wake him up. So that they would understand that maybe sometimes I need to go through a storm to realize that I'm not in control.
Ooh, yeah, that's so true.
And it's in the reliance on something that's bigger than me and beyond me that I don't necessarily have to feel small, but I can prioritize my life in the order it was designed to be prioritized. Yep. That doesn't make me less. That makes me wise.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. I mean, and I would say this last year was probably the biggest storm our family's ever gone through. It felt like every week it was something new.
Yeah.
I had baseball was gone. Then we got in financial problems, and it's just, we thought we were going to sell a house. Yeah. Losing a home that we had bought to to raise our kid in a town that we wanted to raise our kid in. That was just probably the scariest thing. And that was the biggest, that made me feel like I was the biggest failure ever as a husband and a father. Luckily, we trusted. We finally actually surrendered to God and actually trusted that this is not in our control. This is just it's a storm. We have to just make it through. We had to change some things, obviously, to get through it. But honestly, I would say we're happier now than we were a year ago. A lot happier. Even when things happen. I mean, I still feel like it's something every week, but it's like I have peace knowing that we're going to get through it. And it's not because of something we're going to do. Yeah. It's something he's going to allow us to do to be smarter in a situation, or he's just going to bless us because we did X, Y, Z, and we have to, and it's still so hard. I'm not sitting here saying that we do a great job of surrendering and everything, and being, faithful. It's still tough, but knowing that, just the signs that we have been given since we've fully, started that path. Yeah, we're both so much more at peace when things come wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about, I'm just going to choose to do the next right thing. Yep. I'm going to trust God. Yep. And I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to trust that that's going to be good enough.
Yeah.
And it's like anything beyond that, it's like I'm trying to manipulate something that I actually have no control over.
Exactly.
I want to go back to something. So where I can resonate with you is that, there was a time in my life where I thought, if I had made like X amount of dollars and won enough awards and did enough stuff, there was this inadequacy that I felt like due to my childhood and me growing up without a dad and him being in proximity and feeling rejected by him. I thought I had something to prove. And really, I thought my worth was attached to accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And when I had this like preconceived notion of if I did, X, Y, and Z, it was in the pinnacle of my life that I would feel, the provision and proud mm-hmm. and all this stuff. And it would satisfy me in some way. And when the pinnacle became a pit, I didn't know what to do. Yep. Would you speak to that to maybe, give some wisdom to someone that is thinking that, man, if I make it to the league, or if I win this thing, or if I get this job or the marriage or the kid mm-hmm. or whatever it might be, if my dreams are attached to fulfillment in a specific way and you got it, and then you don't feel like you thought you would, then what?
It's so true. And I think you said something earlier about being lost in worldly things. Yeah. In today's world, it's the easiest thing to do. Yeah. Because of social media and just the way that everything's portrayed on it. And as a person who has been fortunate enough to, get drafted, play in the big leagues, make a decent amount of money, you're right. That, there's always something missing. Yeah. It's never enough. There's a reason why billionaires still want more money, because it's still not enough. Yeah. And I thought if I just got that next big paycheck, my family's set for life. So I was chasing that I call it a drug. I was chasing that drug to because I thought I needed to do that so my wife didn't have to work again. Yeah. My son would never have to worry about another day in his life, and it's dangerous. Yeah. It's not, like you said, there's the fulfillment. And I think Scotty Scheffler, I don't know if you're a golf guy, Scheffler spoke on this. It doesn't matter how many times he wins on tour. It doesn't matter how much money he makes on tour. He doesn't have that satisfaction because he's chasing money or wins. He has satisfaction because of he loves Jesus. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that when I heard them say that, I was like, that's awesome. Yeah. Right? Because everybody sees how much money he's making, the awards he's getting, and they're like, I want that. Yeah. Probably the house he has, the cars it's always, who has the nicest car, a house, biggest bank account. It doesn't matter. They're not happy people. Yeah. Because they have more money. They're actually more miserable from what I've heard and read. It's it's to glorify God, and a lot of celebrities do not do that, and that's why you see them still chasing more money, still wanting the nicer watches, cars, shoes, whatever. And I'm a huge shoe guy, but but that's why to me that's. I mean, I'm glad you said that, and that's you just see it every day. They're like, it's not enough, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not chasing the right things.
Because I mean, it's just true in that, that's why Jesus refers to himself as the bread that will never leave you hungry and the water that will never leave you thirsty. It's that you're created to desire someone, not something.
Yep.
And when you experience that, it gives you something that you can't earn, and it's joy.
Yes.
Like joy is not circumstantial. Like happiness is circumstantial. Happiness is, a moment, a feeling, an event, that mountaintop thing. But joy, you can't take it from you. The Bible tells us that, the Lord will never leave us or forsake us. He doesn't sleep or slumber. He's always with us. And I think it's in discovering that and resting in that you can actually feel peace.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the striving. It's like, man, I need something else because I feel restless, and it doesn't matter how much you have when you lay your head down on the pillow at night. Nothing, like it doesn't matter what you're surrounded by or what you have in the garage or what you have on your wrist or whatever. We're all the same when we're on our back with our eyes closed.
Exactly. And like I always, and this makes me think about something I sent Zach and another one of our buddies the other day. Tim Tebow was talking about how, and I'm probably going to butcher this because I don't remember it fully, but he was talking about how he spent majority of his life sprinting towards a sport instead of sprinting towards God, the Word. And he's like, I never felt that fulfillment when I was doing that with football.
Yeah.
But when I started really surrendering to God, and I know I'm butchering this, but and getting into the Word, that's when he felt the most joy in his life. And I was like, slap me in my face right there, because that was like how I felt with baseball. And I told Zach, I was like, dude, that was like a punch to the face at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it's so true. But I spent majority of my life chasing a dream instead of chasing God.
Yeah. And I think also, just to encourage you, you said that you regretted your son not getting to see you pitch. I think sometimes that's definitely not a bad thing, but at the end of the day, him seeing you do that and you sitting on the floor giving him the greatest present that you could give him, which is your presence.
I love that you said that earlier too.
Nothing you could ever do will impress him as much as your time will impart onto him.
That's true. And when you said that earlier today, I was like, oh wow, it actually made me think, about the way I had felt with, not getting to show him what I did.
And at the end of the day, it's somewhat about us.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like satisfaction.
It's I subtly want to flex, but for your good.
Yeah, exactly. I want you to see how cool your dad was.
And but I feel like there's so many times where it's the same reason that I would want to I got a little bit of a cannon, if we're throwing, but that would have nothing to do with you and everything to do with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think our lives. So they're so easy we fall into that trap where it's I gotta show something instead of be something.
Exactly. It's so true. It's
if I put on face and my life looks a certain kind of way and I accomplish enough and do all this stuff and have enough, I'll be satisfied, right? It's well, no, the Bible tells us that the way that you're satisfied is you pour your life out for the things of God. So I think that everything that you've done in your life will lead you into everything that you do next, because God doesn't waste anything.
No, yeah.
He he will multiply it, and he'll glean from like your experience as a pitcher, your time there, and who knows what God has for you. But the same aspects of your personality, like we don't change when we go all in for Jesus. Like we don't change. Maybe we change our behaviors and like rhythms and patterns and things like that. But the intricacies of you, Brandon, like you don't change. We even more so, we become more like the person we were created to be.
Yep, I agree. And honestly, I wouldn't have never saw that or thought that way if it wasn't for, honestly, losing baseball.
Yeah.
And our neighbors moving in, and my brother-in-law, he's the man. He's one of my best friends. We consider each other brothers. He is one of the most biblically sound humans I know, and he has always helped me through any adversity I'd gone through that I didn't think I was fit to go through.
Yeah.
And it always came back to the Bible.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are you this holy?
Yeah.
And, and he walks me through anything and everything I need. And I'm not taking away from the rest of my family and my wife as well. She has helped me through everything. She's been my rock. She's, she held the fort down last year when I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
But those four people and her parents are who we, lean on when times get rough.
Yeah.
Our neighbors, brother and sister-in-law, and her parents, they're just all very faith driven and strong, and to help us get through the things that we've been through in the last year, we owe them everything. And it's we see it as, we know it's God placing these people in this house right next door to us so we could go to this church to find the real truth, not worldly things, which we were getting caught up in. And to be that blessed to have that happen, and not lose everything for that to happen. I'm happier than I've been in a long time.
Man. Well, I just want to, before we conclude our time, I just want to just give you an opportunity just one final word to the audience. We got a lot of people that, we interview a lot of people who are, former athletes, coaches, high capacity leaders, stuff like that, where at the end of the day, it's not, not that being the best at your craft is a bad thing, but for you, someone that is wrestling with letting go of that aspect of their personality, where maybe they're in a new season, they're in I call it the now what, right? So it's like a lot of people who were either they've been a student from pre-K to PhD, and now they're not in school anymore, or they were in the military, or they're an athlete. But the thing in which they've identified themselves as is, like you were sharing, like there's been an aspect of their life where what they did was their identity, and now they're no longer doing the thing they used to do. Now what?
Man, yeah, it's. Like I said earlier, it's so easy to get lost in this. I call it the sauce, and that's worldly things. And whether you want to be a CEO of some big company, or an NFL player, or NBA player, golfer, whatever it might be, don't ever. To me, I think the biggest thing I could say is don't let that be your identity. Find your identity in Christ, not worldly things. Don't let don't let social media tell you, who you are and what you need to be and how much money you need to have and what clothes you need to wear and what car you need to drive. Let God run through you and pour into you, and just be a holy human. I always say this when it comes to athletes. People are they're going to think it's cool that you were good at a sport, but they're always going to remember the type of person you were. And if you're a crappy person, that's going to hold a lot more weight than how good of a player you were. So at the end of the day, people don't truly care how good you are when you're done. at all. So why waste your time and identity on something that doesn't love you back when God will always love you?
Ah, so good. So good. I'm reminded of this quote, Winston Churchill. It says, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And just one last question. So looking back at that difficult season, what was one aspect of failure that shaped you in a positive way that maybe could help somebody listening?
Ooh, that's tough. It helped me know, like, the adversity. Adversity is always good, right? We don't think it is, but it shapes the human you are.
Yeah.
It allows you to understand how to respond in certain situations. And I would say last year I didn't have a response.
Yeah.
I didn't until I found Christ fully and
But I think that was your response.
That was my response. You're right. Yeah, that was my response. But it took me, I would say, too long to get there.
Yeah. But God's timing's always better.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
As much as we don't want to wait, I'm an impatient human being.
Yeah.
I always know now it's not my timing, it's His.
Yeah.
Like I would have never, if you would ask me what age I thought I'd be done playing baseball when I started, I'd be like, 38.
Yeah.
I'm 32.
Yeah.
So it's never on your time.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing I think for humans to understand, that it's going to happen when He wants it to happen, and He knows it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We don't know what's ahead of us, but He does, and He's gonna provide. He will always provide, and that's as long as you understand that, you're going to have a much more calm and peaceful life.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can trust that He's good in spite of our circumstance, we can say, well, maybe I wouldn't have written the story this way.
Exactly.
But if He's the one with the pen, then I can say, in spite of what happened, that maybe I would have done different.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate the struggle because I'm the man I am today because I went through the fire.
Exactly. Amen.
Yeah. Well, Van, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Blessed to be here.